Hi, welcome to Gridiron Gurus. I'm Travis Lazarczyk for the Kennebec Journal and Morning Sentinel, alongside my new colleague making his Gridiron Gurus debut, Drew Bonifant. And along with us today is Brad Bishop, head coach at Messalonskee. Coach, thanks for being here.
You're welcome. Thank you.
We'll touch on briefly your game with Brunswick last week. Seems like they do what they've been doing all season.
Right. I think there's several things we factor in after the game. What I told the kids, I said they've played in big games for 4 years in a row. They have 22 seniors, and it seems like they had a senior at every position. And it's a good football team. It may be their best one, I think, because they have good backs in every position. They have a good defense. They haven't given up a point. They're starters.
Yeah.
Hopefully we can. I'd like to play them again. I think our kids were a little wide-eyed. We haven't played in many big games, this particular group, and the Brunswick kids have. And right now we're just looking at our next game and forgetting about that one. We've had a good week of practice, so
good.
Do you get a sense from the players? I mean, that conference that you're talking about. I know Kobe Dexter said just tells us that we need to work harder. I mean, is that kind of the sense that you got from them as well?
It's a more. The better the competition, the more physical the game's going to be. And like I said before the game, I don't think we played in a real physical game yet,
right.
The way I scheduled. And neither at Brunswick, so we'll be interested to see what happened.
Yeah.
And I think, Brunswick still had some incentive. We had beaten them a couple of regular seasons in a row when
True.
they were undefeated. And, they've got memories too. So, anyway.
You had a classic playoff game down there a couple of years ago, too.
Exactly.
Back and forth.
It's a good little game. I think if we play them again, we'll be a little bit better and sharper, I hope.
Yeah. Halfway through the season, what have you seen out of your group that you like, and what have you seen that you guys really want to improve on when you got these next 4 games?
We're going to have to, prove that we can beat an upper echelon team at some point, whether it be Skowhegan, Brewer, Lawrence, even Nokomis. That's the next game we're looking at. We don't look too far ahead, at least I don't. We have to get ready for Saturday night. I think our kids work extremely hard. They're very good kids. They're fun to be around. It's just in the bigger games, we're going to have to show up with this group. That's all.
Talk about this Nokomis game. They're 0-4, but they've had 3 really close games. Two games under a touchdown.
They hang around, don't they?
They were with Skowhegan for a half.
Right. They hang around, and I think with high school kids, not just ours, any high school kid, they get complacent when they think they're going to blow somebody off the field, and it doesn't happen. Then sometime, somewhere, it's going to happen when the second half might be too late for a team to wake up.
Right.
We got to come out and take care of business. The first period, obviously.
Looks like they have a good young quarterback in Andrew Haynes.
Yeah, he's a good player, good athlete. They have a good one good lineman. I noticed. I can't remember what number he was. I think it was number 66, the defensive lineman. Number 42 is a pretty good player for them in the backfield. They're not bad, really. No. They throw a lot, which. It's kind of tough in high school football around here. You have to have a lot of athletes. I mean,
sure.
I just don't know if they have enough yet. I don't know.
I mean, I just remember seeing that. I was at the Nokomis game against Gardner last week, and it was like flipping a switch. I mean, they couldn't find open guys. They couldn't, and just couldn't move the ball. And all of a sudden, in the second half, just everything that they tried was working.
Yeah.
I mean, is that something that as a coach,
I'm concerned anytime somebody throws it up in the air. I mean, they threw, I think, 36 times. And I was there. I mean, they threw, I think it was 36 passes.
Yeah.
And, they woke up the second half, and I think Gardner fell asleep the second half. I mean, it was the tale of 2 halves. I mean, one team was lagging behind the first half, and it switched around the second half. Gardner was lucky to hang on and win that game. Well, I think it was 21-19, I think.
Yeah.
But, it was a good game. We're going to do some things different than Gardner does defensively to hopefully, he had a lot of time to throw. I mean, several times. He just sitting back there like he was eating popcorn.
Great.
You were. I mean, when you look back at that game against Brunswick, are there some, even though it's a loss, are there some good things that can come out of that? Just in like it's a way to test the mental toughness.
Oh yeah, we got to play harder.
Yeah.
Play faster. We got we have quick kids. Thing I think with Brunswick, they're big, they're quick, their line is big and quick, and they're physical. They've been there before. Where our kids, we're still playing a lot of young ones. I mean, juniors and sophomores still. We have some experience. We don't have. I've never been blessed over there yet with a big senior class. I mean, 8 or 9 a year. That's not many. We have small squads. Be nice to have 45 upperclassmen. I don't think that's going to come anytime soon. So.
Okay, looking at some of the other big games in the region this weekend, Drew, let's start with the Campbell Conference Class D. Big matchup between Oak Hill and Winthrop Monmouth.
It's going to be a huge game, and both teams have just been really rolling throughout the season. And Winthrop Monmouth, I think, may have had some people who were a little bit skeptical of their season to the point to some close victories early in the season. And then I think that they answered those critics against the Large Beach. It was just, I mean, they rolled. They were able to throw the ball, run the ball pretty much at will. Nate Scott had a huge game for them, and it's going to be interesting to see how that pans out against a team that's really owned that class the last few years.
Is that a night game?
I believe it's Friday night. Yeah.
I'll take Winthrop.
Yeah. Yeah. You coached in that league when you were at Livermore Falls, and you still coach. Teach in the school district in that league.
No, if that's a night game, I'll go with Winthrop.
Yeah.
Saturday they'll be asleep if they're playing on Saturday.
All right. Looking at the Pine Tree Conference Class B, your league coach, big game with Brunswick and Skowhegan. You saw Brunswick, obviously. You know what they can do running the ball. You haven't seen Skowhegan yet, but that passing attack, I mean, last week, Garrett McSweeney threw for 390 yards and 5 touchdowns in a game against Brewer.
And Brewer controlled the ball,
And won the game, yeah.
I still think they're going to have to, Skowhegan obviously is going to have to play some defense. And I haven't seen him play, but he's a very good quarterback. And Brunswick has good athletes out back. I can't really comment on the line play because I haven't seen Skowhegan play, but Brunswick's got a good line. I just, until somebody knocks Brunswick off, it depends on the weather, too. If it's a nice night, he could throw for 400 yards again,
True. Well, last year they played a game that was 56-35 Brunswick,
Exactly.
much like Skowhegan's game at Brewer last week.
Exactly.
Back and forth for a while until Brunswick took control in the fourth quarter.
Right.
Go ahead.
How much can you use a game like that just to scout these teams for games coming up?
I'm going up Friday. It will help us because Brunswick's a similar offense, and I'll get to see somewhat how Skowhegan aligns and things. It's tough to scout a team against another throwing team because they generally don't line up in the same type of defense as they would against a running, formation team. That's the hard part.
Yeah. Another big game in this league, Lawrence and Hamden, both 2-2. You saw Hamden a couple weeks ago. It's another team that will mix up a little offensively.
They're better. They're more organized. Hamden, they'll get better. They're more organized. Where's that game?
I believe it's at Hamden.
I think Lawrence plays better defense than Hamden. I'll go with Lawrence. I just think they're a little bit better defensively now.
Yeah, they played very good defense against Mount Blue 2 weeks ago and then holding Coney to 12 points.
Yeah, and Mount Blue's having some problems. They're struggling a little bit. So.
Yeah, just a young team.
Yeah,
that was kind of a tour de force that they had against Coney.
Yeah, you saw that game.
Yeah, I was at that game, and just Coney couldn't move the ball.
I think Coney's been beat up though.
Yeah,
they went through us. They went through Brunswick, and then they got Skowhegan and Brewer after this.
Yeah, tough schedule. There's really no weeks off in your league. Your league's the toughest in the state, I think.
And they lost a lot of kids, Coney. They lost a lot of seniors from the last couple of years. It's hard. Unless you get those classes coming up through every year, when you lose 18 or 19 kids that all started for them last year, except for the quarterback, it's a big difference.
Even the quarterback, there was a bit of a health scare there where Heath went down and missed a series. Turns out he's fine. He was cleared and ready to go for the game, but it's just kind of that literally and figuratively getting beat up at this part of the season.
Right.
Yeah. Depth is always a concern.
Yeah.
Okay, that's it for us this week on Gridiron Gurus. I want to thank Drew. I want to thank Coach Bishop for coming in. Enjoy whatever games you guys get to this week, and we'll see you next time on Gridiron Gurus.
Checking the mail or?